Hello, my name is Dr. Dwayne Smith, and I am the CEO of Housatonic Community College, located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I am excited, I am ecstatic about this podcast that I am having to share with you, which is called The Journey, Stories of Triumph. And in these podcasts, we will talk with different types of individuals from all walks of life. But the main thing is that they have a story, and that story is of a triumph. And so I hope that you will join us. I look forward to seeing you. Welcome to my podcast, The Journey, Stories of Triumph. And I have such a special guest here to share with you his story of triumph. And his name is Matthew McCarthy. And Matthew is special to Housatonic because he's an alum of Housatonic. He started here at HCC in 2010, and in 2012, he, after 2 years in graduating from Housatonic, went on to Western Connecticut State University, and he has come back to support his first alma mater as being a foundation board member. So we're delighted of his success, and we're extremely proud that he is still connected to us. But he had a variety of positions growing up, and I mean, it's so many to explain, but he is currently a successful CPA, and he's also a council member in the city of Bridgeport, the 130th district. So welcome, Matt. I understand that you come from humble beginnings. Share your humble beginnings with us.
Well, as a child, I always had a job. I started at 8 years old as a paper boy. I worked at a country club at 12. Through high school, I just had jobs as a busboy because my father always taught me, and my mother, hard work pays off. So, also as a child, my parents didn't have a lot of money. So, for instance, video games. We had Coleco, and everyone else had Nintendo.
All right.
Once Super Nintendo came out, then we got Nintendo. So we were always a step behind. Always had hand-me-downs from my brother, but it's okay.
Yeah. Do you think that built fortitude in you?
I believe so. I believe so. And I spent a lot of time with my grandmother who instilled in me, and my parents also instilled is, helping others. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah, that's incredible. So it appears that you had several starts before you really found your way academically. Why don't you talk about that?
So after high school, which I like to say that I graduated third in my class, but it was third from the bottom.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if it was that bad, but my grades were not great. I tried doing John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York City. That lasted a month. The next semester I came to Housatonic. I think that lasted less than a month. And then it was just off to work. I became a land surveyor, and I just thought college was not for me. And
you did that for 14 years, right?
I actually still do some today.
Okay.
So from 1998, 9-ish till 2015 when I went full-time into the accounting world.
Okay. So what was it that propelled you to continue, after all those false starts? Many people just give up and say school is not for me, but what was it that propelled you forward?
Well, my history from graduating high school up until I was about 30, alcohol and drugs were a big part of my life. And I decided to change my life in 2010. So I checked myself into detox. I went to rehab, and I spent 15 months in a sober living facility.
Wow.
But as soon as I got out of rehab, I came to HCC and took the placement exam because I just wanted to change, and that's all I knew what to do.
Wow. And that's a bombshell, to speak so openly about your addiction. And I know just that part alone is very inspiring because so many people try to get sober and try to get well, but they don't. So what was the key that kind of unlocked it for you?
I woke up one morning, and I don't want to get too much into it, but I just knew that I needed to change my life. There's a lot of things that happened, a lot of people I harmed, and I hurt them, and I just knew that I couldn't live like that anymore.
Wow. Yeah. Yes. And that's amazing. And so you think about you having to get one part of your life together before the second part would come. That seems like the case that with all these false starts, but there were some other things you had to clean up before you were to actually finally get to the finish line academically and at Housatonic. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes, yes. When I was living in the sober living house, I'd be at the dining room table just studying. Nice. Study. And I started here in developmental classes. And I wanted to quit. DS 099 and reading comprehension, writing. I just wanted to quit. I didn't want to do it. But I did have two teachers who I really would like to give a shout out to, and that was Professor Jeff Vance and Professor Christine Bailey.
Yes.
Who gave me the confidence that I can do it. That I'm a smart person. I never thought I was a smart person. Wow. And I sent them an email a few years ago just thanking them for being part of my journey.
And I want to hammer that home, this notion of you having a sense of lack, that you don't have the abilities, but actually with the sober process, it allowed you to think more clearly about who you were to become. Is that? Yes,
my head cleared slowly, but I think being older, going back to school, also made a huge difference.
Sure.
I cared. It was my own money that I was spending, and it was just way different from the first couple times I tried.
Matt, I want to go back to the how you were able to get sober, because there are so many people, actually students that we're trying to attract, who have kind of this background similar to yours, but just feel as if it's hopeless, And so I'm sure that at some point you felt your life was hopeless, but something happened that turned it around. So I want you to speak more about that, and what advice would you give that individual, that adult learner who, whatever situation, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or even just poor choices, that they could turn their life around and do the things that you've done?
Yeah. I was definitely hopeless. I thought I was never going to get out of it. I did, I made that choice, and it wasn't all me. I believe in something greater than myself that helped me. I woke up on an empty bedroom floor one morning, and something in my head said, I need to change. And there is hope. You just keep plugging forward. I never thought I'd be able to go to a baseball game or a football game without having a drink, and I have so much fun without it. I don't need it anymore. I needed it for that sense of self-worth, give me confidence, but now I just don't need it anymore.
Sure. So what I take away from this is that no matter how far down you've gone, you can get back up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you can reach your highest potential and highest promise as a person.
Yeah. I hit rock bottom, but I still don't think I've hit my highest potential. I think that's still to come.
Right, well, and you've accomplished a whole lot. You're one of our alums, and you've completed Housatonic in 2 years, and across the nation, most individuals, it takes some time because just life happens, but you went through some things and you came out triumphantly. So we're incredibly proud of you. So we're so grateful that you are one of ours.
I love Housatonic.
Yeah,
it's in my heart.
Yes, and that's what you show. So being your family members and people have gone to community college and perhaps Housatonic, speak about the role that Housatonic or even community colleges play in the shaping of lives.
So my mom started here back when I was a young kid. She came back my parents met in college in Mobile, Alabama, and they both did not finish because they had my older brother. So my father continued his education once they moved back up here, and then my mother went to Housatonic when I was on Barnum Ave.
Oh, wow.
And she got her BSN in nursing, and she became a nurse. But as a child, she was always either in school or working when I was growing up. My other brother and sister, they did not go to community college, but that's the path I chose because I knew it would be better for me.
Mm-hmm. And great indeed. So you're a business owner and you're on the council making a difference there, but also for Housatonic, you're on the foundation. So speak a little bit about your role in the foundation.
As a board member, we try to, when I first started, I was a student board member in 2015. So just to rewind, I came here from 2010 to 2012. I went to Western, but as a CPA, you need 150 credits to get your license. So most people get their master's degree. Mm-hmm. I chose to come back to Housatonic because for the cost, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
And when I got a job working at Ernst & Young, and I was working with kids who were $150,000 to $200,000 in debt.
Wow.
But because I came to Housatonic and I went to state school, I owed $10,000. Same job, same pay, same everything. So community college is the way to go.
And you're a certified public accountant?
CPA, yes.
A CPA, wow.
Hard work, but I got there.
What I gleaned from your story, Matt, is that there are so many people along the way that help you out. It wasn't just you. You had to take the first step, of course, but there are people that help you along the journey. So we call it mentoring. And so speak about how you're giving back to others in a way that people gave to you.
Well, it's funny you bring up mentoring. Back in 2014, I was doing an internship at Ernst & Young, and we did a community cleanup at a public school in Bridgeport. And the development director there asked me if I'd be interested in coming back doing a read to a child. So she connected me with this child who was at the time in the 5th grade, and he would read to me once a week. And then it just morphed into the 6th grade year, the 7th grade year, and then 8th grade, and it became more than just reading. It became, I guess, if you will, mentoring. And I never knew how I helped this child until I got a letter one day from him and his mother thanking me for everything I've ever done for him.
Wow.
And it gets me a little emotional because I showed my mom and my sister, and they both cried. And it's just something for me that it's one of the most important things I do in my life, which is helping this child kind of navigate through life. And now he's going to be a senior in high school.
Wow.
Looking at colleges next year, and we go out to dinner, we go to lunch, text. He's not a child who likes to talk a lot. So even after 8 or 9 years, it's like pulling teeth to get him to open up. But we're getting there. So it's just like Housatonic has a special place in my heart, so does this child.
Wow, man, you have so many incredible stories. And what you also, you shared is that mentoring is kind of a long-term solution. So it's not that you're just in and out of this person's life, you're in there for the long haul. And I know that person appreciates that.
He does. And it took me a while to see that, but he really does. And I think mentoring in general is a way to break the cycle, if you will, of kids maybe getting into trouble, the cusp of making that right or wrong decision.
And so I'm going to put a shameless plug in for Housatonic that we want that scholar here.
We'll work on it.
All right.
We'll work on it.
That's right. Well, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining me on my podcast, The Journey, Stories of Triumph. And please follow me on my social links, which will be in the description below. Until next time.